Hi everyone, so I mentioned I was doing this video and I had to find some time to do it. I finally got some time to do it. Domino was acting up. You'll notice I'm back in my sweater and coat, and if you don't know why, hold on just 1 second, if anyone can see that. That's about half a foot of snow on the ground right there for April the 4th in Massachusetts. Oh god, can this just end? We are getting so used to the nice weather around here. Bright side is it's supposed to be about 50 degrees tomorrow. But that means fuck all at the moment. So, but anyway, semantics, I digress. So I came back last night, because I actually had in the mindset to do this video, but I needed not legitimate reasoning, but I had to see the movie one more time before I could do this video. And I was thinking of doing it Saturday, but I thought, I can't get a normal showing tonight, and I'll probably do this video on Monday anyway, so I just thought Sunday night, so it's fresher in my head, I could get it for cheaper, all that. So I saw it, I still really enjoyed it, had fun, but I feel now that I've seen it a third time, I can effectively make this video. So this video, as you see the title is, Batman vs. Superman, my final verdict on it, was it a success, was it a failure? So in this video, I'm going to, and some people have kind of mentioned, I don't necessarily have a script most of the time, which I don't. But I did write down notes to go over. So I'm going to talk about the things that worked, things that were successes, things that didn't work, things that were failures, how it overall came together, what basically the future is, the current box office, the future box office predictions, and everything in between, more or less. So first off, I still stand by my 8 out of 10 score, I think. I think 8 out of 10 was a good place for me to put it, given how much I overall enjoyed the movie. I thought the scenes that were well put together were very well put together. I think that it was still a very ambitious film, and that first and foremost, it succeeded in bringing Batman and Superman to the big screen. That's not something we've ever had. So right in that sense, it succeeded in giving something the fans always wanted to see. Now, that being said, because fans have wanted to see this for so long, and just people in general wanted to see this for so long, so I can just make sure I can, I got a little, not getting the chill. Their hype just got too high, and I think that's where a lot of fans got disappointed by the movie. It didn't live up to that massive hype that they tried to get rid of, but, you know, what are you going to do? But where did this movie first off succeed? Well, it succeeded in, again, just Batman and Superman being in the same movie. You have a movie where that exists. I do believe it succeeded in tying in the Justice League in an effective way. I don't like where the scene necessarily was put in the movie, but the scene worked. And obviously, and by the way, yeah, I put spoilers on this too. Spoilers. You know, that audio, that file clip, basically, was a brilliant plot tool for having these actors technically in the movie as cameos, introduce these characters into the DC universe, but not actually crowd them with a legitimate cameo like, hey, Aquaman suddenly arrives to the battle, the Flash is suddenly there, Cyborg's there. No, you didn't need to do that, and they didn't do that, and the way they did it worked very well for the type of scene it was. Now, that being said, you could have put that somewhere else. I've heard some people say maybe that should have been Batman looking over the videos, which he obviously did. But we don't see the scene where he did it. But I mean, I still think that worked. Batman sold the movie. I mean, well, maybe not. No, I would say Batman sold the movie along with Wonder Woman. Those are the big takeaways in terms of the main three. Henry Cavill, Superman actually falls into a neutral zone. I'll get to that when I get to that. But Batman, I think Ben Affleck got a lot of hate when he got first casted as Batman. And he said, you know, I'm a big boy, I can take it. And you know what? Even with all the negatives about the movie that people go on, he is one of the positives that is, he's universal. I mean, universal in terms of the majority, not overall. Not everyone. Obviously, not everyone's going to like his Batman. Not everyone's going to like anything. But yeah, universally out of this movie, he's the one thing that most people are digging. So I do feel bad that the movie's not as well received as you'd hope. You see that video of sad Affleck's response to it. It's pretty funny and sad too. It's like, oh man, you actually see how upset he looks. But no, I think I thought they brought something to Batman they hadn't done in a long time. Is that the rage. Batman is an angry dude. He is. And we haven't seen a very old, he's not very old, but a older, grislier, war-torn Batman who's just kind of mentally snapped at points here. The whole Batman killing people thing. Watching the movie again, I'm like, Yeah, he killed people. I mean, you can't get around that. Now, he didn't kill as many people as I think we were led to believe. Now, he still did it, but that dream sequence does not count in this case. That's an alternate universe kind of dream sequence thing. You can't count that, because if you count that, then he laid waste to a whole bunch of fucking bodies. But if you were to take that out of the equation, which I think you should in this case, he did kill people. I mean, maybe killed maybe a dozen guys, maybe. But, I mean, throughout that entire warehouse fight, he actually didn't, with the exception of the glass guy with the blowtorch, he didn't technically kill anyone in that warehouse. I mean, he kicked a guy in the head, the guy drops a grenade. That's kill by omission, which Batman has done quite a few times, including The Dark Knight Returns, which is what a lot of this Batman is based off of. Now, if you're not a fan of the whole Batman killing thing, that's fine. But if you're going to complain that it completely ruins the character, I'm sorry, I gotta beg to differ on that. It doesn't ruin the character because Batman... This is a misconception about Batman, that the whole Batman doesn't kill rule. That's bullshit. Batman has killed... And I'm not even talking about the 20s or 30s or the very early Batman with the guns. I'm not talking about that. I am legitimately saying that in the most extreme circumstance, Batman has in fact killed. In a one shot, which you say it's a one shot, it's like, yeah, but it's still Batman. Shut up, because all these things are one shots in some way. Even with the overarching stories, they're still just different interpretations. So he once at one point had basically a psychotic break or a mental break and snapped Joker's neck. It's implied he killed him in the Killing Joke. He killed Darkseid. I'm trying to think. I believe there was one point where he was drugged and kind of had was going on like some weird LSD trip at one point. I briefly saw that one. R.I.P. Batman R.I.P. Rest in peace. He again gets manipulated into mental breaks and end up killing criminals. He does that in that comic as well. There is precedence actually quite literally. And what was it? There was a Crisis on Infinite Earths, or was it? The one where it was Superboy Prime and Batman had a chance holding a gun to him to kill him, and then he just made the choice not to. But he was going to kill him. He was. Mark tried to argue, he's like, yeah, but he didn't. But he did. That's not the argument that needs to be made. Is that if circumstances had just been touched bit different, like Wonder Woman wasn't there to persuade him out of it, would he have killed him? And I think there's a possibility he might have. So the whole argument that the whole Batman killing thing ruins the character, I don't think is a valid argument. I think that if you take into consideration this is an older, grislier Batman that lost Robin, that's dealt with this Joker, that's basically pretty much had a psychotic break once Superman kind of appeared, then yeah, I think that it's an effective way to treat the character, and we see where we see this character go afterwards. I think it may be a very interesting place to go. Another thing to touch on is Alfred. If you can't talk about Batman, talk about Alfred. Is that I think they did Alfred extremely well. The scenes between them alone really make me want to stand a little Batman movie. They had great chemistry as Batman and Alfred. It was a brilliant amalgamation, kind of like a Michael Caine, but also the animated series Batman. He's as well as being someone active too. He's you see he's a mechanic, things along those lines. He still has whippy one-liners to Batman. So I dug Michael Caine a lot. I think most of the supporting cast was actually good. Perry, Lawrence Fishburne, I think he was great. Amy Adams, acting wise, she's fine. We'll get to her later. I think Gal Gadot was even surprisingly serviceable. Actually, I'd go and say that in certain scenes she's actually good. When she's not, and her non-speaking parts of the movie were actually very good. She had some lines that were delivered a little stiff and wooden, and I'm not talking about like the way Wonder Woman and Thor talk in the comics, their kind of speech. I mean, literally the way she said it was just like someone just reading this creature, it feeds off energy. It kind of sounded like that. But in other words, I've killed creatures from other worlds before. So, I'm trying to do that accent she has. But yeah, no, she's got good moments in this film, just in terms of acting wise, but then of course action wise she sells it. So I think they actually did Wonder Woman right. She didn't feel forced in the movie. She wasn't just shoehorned in. She played a plot in the movie, but it was still focused on Batman versus Superman. And I think that's another plus, is that for the first 2/3 of this movie, the focus is on Batman and Superman, with Lex just being all weird. But I do think they succeeded in that route as well. Now, was it done in a way that worked? That's debatable. I don't necessarily think it didn't work, but it wasn't done as well as I could have hoped. But the fact is, they focused at least 2/3 of the movie on Batman v Superman, so I give them credit for that, and I think that's another plus of the movie. Action and score, the music's great, the action is Zack. If Zack Snyder can do anything well, it is action, and it's visually a very good-looking film. It's dark, it's gritty, but it's a good-looking film. The tone is very bleak. I think I actually saw 1 or 2 people walk out of the theater last night. I think one of them took their kid away. But I mean, the action beats, again, there aren't a lot of, in terms of quantity, there aren't a lot of action beats in the movie. They don't show up until about a little past halfway, where we get the Batman v Superman fight. Great, we get that awesome Batmobile chase. There are like only real 4 key action sequences, 5 if you want to include the Metropolis fight, or the Metropolis the beginning of the movie where we're seeing Metropolis. I don't count that as an action scene, though. It's more just a different retelling. Which, by the way, that opening scene, the first, 20 minutes of this film, is another plus. It set up Bruce Wayne in this world. It gave us his origin again in, 5 minutes. We didn't need the big, long take. It's like, I think I likened it, and a lot of people have, to Mark Ruffalo, Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk. We don't have to really... We don't need much to know who the Hulk is. We know who the Hulk is, but in every reinterpretation of the character, you need to at least rehash the origin somewhat. And they did this in the effective way. They did, during the credits, get Jeffrey Dean Morgan as his dad. There's a win. And then we see a cut to him, and we hear him narrating. Now, granted, the bats lifting him up was weird until they revealed it was a dream sequence, so pass on that. Then we cut to the Metropolis fight. We see all that, and it was very 9/11. It felt very much like a 9/11 scene. And I still gotta admit, I actually still get choked up and emotional when I see Bruce Wayne trying to save his friend. And he's there, and he knows he's about to die, and he starts praying to gods, like, Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, and Creator above, please have mercy on my soul. I'm like, dude, this is the one part that I get kind of emotional about. I'm like, dude, this is tough to watch in many ways, because this is kind of how a lot of people act. Is like, well, I've heard a lot of people say, why the fuck did he stay in the building? Hey, to tell you, a lot of people did that in 9/11. There were a lot of people who did stay in the building, unfortunately, and many of them did die. So the parallels to that are very, very adamant in there. Let's see. Was there anything else that I want to go over for positives? One more comment on Ben Affleck real quick is that I heard a little bit of Kevin Smith's thoughts on the opinion, and he referred to Batman as Bat Trump. Because he's an alien, we gotta kill him. He's the problem, something like that. I'm like, that's an inaccurate comparison completely. I'm not going to get political, but everything Donald Trump says is not for the greater good. It's for his own fucking ego. You look at Batman, you look at this guy who, for as far as I can tell, no serious metahuman like Superman has ever, or an alien has ever shown up. And then we see all the destruction he can cause. We're already dealing with a guy who's seen a lot, been through a lot. He's already got all that pent-up anger. You see what he's capable of. This is a guy who feels that this alien is a genuine threat to the world. If he were to ever go rogue, we need to be able to take him out. It's a legitimate concern when you think about it. Now, granted, Superman obviously shows that that's not the case. He's not a danger because, he wouldn't do that. But, we have that genius sequence where he sees it. That's very Injustice Gods Among Us, which people may be hinting. It's like, oh my god, that's going to be like the next movie and something. I don't know. We'll find out with Justice League. So I don't like that comparison. It's a legitimate point Batman makes, actually. It's just Superman happens to be wrong in this case. That Superman's not a threat. That's all. So I talked about where the movie succeeded in my mind. Now, before I go into failures, one neutral point is that Superman was not bad, but was not very good. Henry Cavill, God bless him. I love Henry Cavill. I loved Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was a great movie, I thought. A very underrated movie. Did not do very well, unfortunately. But Henry Cavill, God bless him. He does his best with the script he was given, and that does fall into one of the failures, the negatives. But he does deliver his lines as best he can. Some of them, even though they're bad lines, are delivered well. He's just kind of a nothing character. Even the the action sequences, which by the way, but touching on action, we have the Batmobile fight. We got the actual fight between Batman versus Superman, which is just something people wanted to see. And Markham says, and I agree, that it did start out a little clean, but once it goes inside, it does start to get gritty and dirty and stuff like that. Then the fight scene in the warehouse is straight out of an Arkham game. The final Doomsday fight is just pretty epic. Now, that being said, I didn't feel any. I mean, you do feel some of his care, like when his mother's threatened, when he's gonna go when he's gonna save the world and basically sacrifice himself and get killed by Doomsday. You do feel a little bit of that, but it's just you didn't establish enough of him in the movie prior to that to really warrant these real emotional heavy scenarios. So he just felt like a know-nothing character in this in the movie. He felt like a nothing character, I should say. I feel like they kind of wasted they definitely wasted a bit with Superman. And that goes into the failures. Now, where should I start with this? I think I'm going to start with probably actually my biggest problem with the movie, apart from Lex Luthor, which, honestly, he's less a problem with the movie to having seen it a third time than it was the second and first. But the movie was not the type of movie I wanted to see with Batman v Superman. When I hear Batman v Superman, I do think The Dark Knight Returns, because that's the classic clash between them. But it's the kind of fight I want to see where it's not just they're fighting for a stupid reason. It's a clash of ideologies, and we get some of that in the movie a little bit, where Clark is just like doesn't like the Gotham Bat. He's like he's trampling civil liberties. And then you get the scene where they confront each other. Next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go away. I'm like, okay, this is leading up. And then that's where it ends. We for the 100% of the movie up until they resolve it, we get Batman's reason for the fight. We get his ideology. That's not an issue. Batman's ideology is not an issue. But Superman's ideology, he doesn't have an ideology for some reason. He doesn't. He's very much kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time. For a little bit, he's questioning Batman, but after a while, the reason they fight's not because they're at odds against each other. It's because Lex Luthor captured his mom and is coercing him into fighting Batman. So that's not the movie I wanted to see with Batman v Superman. It's not. And you know, if you run away, if you try to kill me, your mother dies. But if you bring me the head of the bat, I will save your mother. So, yeah, then the movie failed in that regard for the actual conflict. However, that's not where the only problem comes in. The other problems come in with the fact that the editing is piss poor in this movie, especially and the story flow as a whole is piss poor. The pacing particularly is terrible throughout the movie. I mean, there's like segments where it starts to pace better, but for like the first at least third of the movie, the editing is atrocious, just cutting to different scenes that make no real sense to be cut to, and the pacing just is all over the map. Now, once we get past, I think, that first like the charity ball for the Metropolis Library, where basically Bruce and Henry Cavill meet. Bruce and Clark meet, which is a good scene, very good scene actually. After that, the pacing does improve, but it's still a little choppy. But through the first third of the movie, leading up into that, basically, it is a mess of a movie. It really is. It's just scenes are not connecting really at all. Scenes don't go anywhere. There are scenes that are useless, and I will get to that. But overall, it's just a mess. It really is in many regards. But again, this does not detract from my enjoyment of the movie significantly. I still give it an 8 out of 10. But let's be clear, is that just because I give it an 8 out of 10 does not mean I don't notice serious problems with the movie. Then, of course, we got to get the Lex Luthor. Now, seeing it the first time, I was not sure how I liked him. And then seeing it the second time, I'm like, no, I don't like this character. But seeing it the third time actually brought me back around a little bit. And the reason for that is that up until he starts the Kryptonian world engine not world engine, he basically tries to, up until he absorbs the knowledge more or less of the Kryptonian ship, he's not actually that bad. He's because his Lex Luthor, again, I made mention in the review that I'm okay with a different interpretation of the character. And he's a socially awkward genius, a Theranos billionaire, all that. But you can see the dark side, you can actually see the madness in him, but he's kind of keeps it okay, kind of in wraps a little bit. Now, he's not actually technically Lex... I mean, he is Lex Luthor, but he's Lex Luthor Jr. His father was also Lex Luthor, Alexander Luthor, as it is. So, he's technically Lex and technically not. But at the same time, realizing what this character was, at least for the first part, and trying to pinpoint any times he was actually being wacky, like really wacky, there weren't a great many of those moments in the parts leading up to obtaining like the knowledge of like 100,000 worlds, as they put it in the movie. But he is still weird. He's a quirky, but in a bad way kind of guy. Also, he blows up Mercy Gray. Why did you bring her in just to kill her? Come on. Anyway. But that's a different thing entirely. But then my problems returned when we get to the scene where when we get to the scene where he's cuts his hand on Zod's body to infuse DNA and create Doomsday. Once we got to that scene, it's like, you flew too close to the sun. I'm like, okay, now you're starting to go a little crazy there. And then dealing with like Lois Lane and stuff, I'm like, yeah, no, okay, now you're kind of just being Edward Nygma. You really are just being like Jim Carrey from Batman 3. And then we get that whole final scene with him and Batman in his cell. The bell cannot be unrung. He's coming, he's found us, and he's hungry. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. What the fuck am I? This is not Lex Luthor. Even in a different interpretation, this is not Lex Luthor. This is an insane man. This is just a crazed nut job. That's what the fuck that is. I'm like, oh man. If it wasn't for the fact he just goes so over the top and cartoony in the last third of the movie, I wouldn't have put him on the negatives, honestly. I might not have put him on the pluses, but I probably would have put him on the neutral category. So, two other things to touch on for failures. I've already talked about pacing and editing, but useless scenes. There are scenes that really just don't make any sense to be in this. Even though some of them are great scenes. The scene where you see, first off, I was surprised to see Kevin Costner back in the movie, and since he's looking at his ghost, like having just some sort of moment there, and he talks about, his wife being his world, and basically that goes back in the end where it's like, Lois, you are my world, Lois, and this is my world. And I get that, but you could have done that in a scene that made complete sense, because as far as I know, even with all the vast amounts of Superman's abilities, and he has some of the most hacked and stupid abilities in the comics, he can see ghosts? What? So that scene was basically useless. There was no reason for that scene to be there. Half the scenes with Lois don't need to be in this movie whatsoever. The whole plot of the Bullet makes no sense to be in this movie, even though I think it's Henry Lennox, I think it is, the general, who's now in the, you remember him. But and I like him, and I'm glad he's in the movie because I like him, but if he doesn't actually serve a point in the movie. Because the whole point of that is for her to figure out Lex is bad and basically get kidnapped by Lex. And you could have done that without all this freaking stupid subplot. This whole desert scene was stupid. This whole desert scene made no sense in the long run. Did you know, by the way, that is Jimmy Olsen next to her in the desert with the camera, who said that he's CIA. And he gets shot in the face and is killed. They killed Jimmy Olsen because they said, nope, I don't think he's going to fit in this universe. That ain't your call, Zack Snyder. That ain't your fucking call. I'm sorry, no. If DC thought that they could maybe have a place for Jimmy Olsen in this universe, that's not your call to kill the character. Ugh. Apart from that, there's a couple other minor scenes that could have just been cut out. But that's the thing. This movie is 2.5 hours long. This movie did not need to be 2.5 hours long. You could have cut easily 15 to 20 minutes of this movie off. Maybe even a half hour off. And it would have worked vastly better. It would have been vastly superior because you wouldn't have useless scenes. And that brings me to the final failure of this, Lois Lane. Now, I like Amy Adams. She's a very good actress, and her acting is fine in the movie. It is. She's a great actress. She's good in the movie. But her character serves no point other than to be a anchor to Superman's humanity, to be and for him to protect this world even more and protect the woman he loves. You could have done that, but had her actually be useful. She is useless in this movie. She serves no point whatsoever being in this movie. And it's one of the things that pisses me off the most. I think if you top 3, it's the conflict. Lex doesn't piss me off as much. So actually, you know what? Fuck it. I put her as number 2. She pisses me off in this movie because she is useless in this movie. She's more useless than the useless scenes. What does she do exactly? She discovers this bullet. She finds this bullet. She's already adding about 15 minutes to the freaking plot of the movie. We don't need that. Then what does she do? She gets kidnapped and it's like, I know what she's done. Yeah, it's going to pass over. And you're right. He's a billionaire. He could probably get around it. So you're useless doing that as well. And it's like, you know what? Now I'm going to just push you off and Superman will save you. Yep. So you were useless. You're just a tool for him to save. And then she comes into... The only thing she kind of is useful for is the tool, is basically stopping Batman from killing Superman. That's all she does. It's like, his mother's name is Martha, which, by the way, I thought was actually a clever plot tool for him to snap back to reality for Batman. But that's the only useful thing she does. Because after that, she takes the spear. So now, to be fair, Mark and I both agree that in any scenario, that's probably what someone would do. Maybe. I mean, I might take the spear, but I don't think I would, because there's a legitimate point to having a spear on hand in case something bad happens. But she didn't think. She's just like, no, I gotta save my boyfriend. There we go. Yeah, no, he's not gonna be hurt by that anymore. We need the spear. Wait, oh shit, did I? Oh fuck. Don't worry, I'm gonna just find the spear, dig in. Oh god, I'm drowning. And then Superman saves her a 3rd time in the movie. And was I go, don't worry, you're safe. Don't worry, I'll get the spear. And I don't feel good. Oh god, okay, you're safe. And it's like, I gotta do it. I gotta save it. Lois, you threw the spear away to save your boyfriend, to save Superman, so he wouldn't get hurt. And what does your useless ass do? You try to get the spear again to save the world, fail, make your boyfriend get the spear, which would kill him, and then go and stab Doomsday, all only for Doomsday to kill him. So guess what, Lois? You killed your boyfriend. And yeah, I mean, there's the arguments like, why couldn't, and I made this argument too a little bit, that why didn't Wonder Woman do it? But they're in the heat of a battle, and granted, she had a lasso, she could keep him there easier. But at the same time, Superman could have put him into like a full Nelson or something like that. Now, granted, I think so I think what he could have worked is he tosses the spear to Wonder Woman. Batman hits him with the Doomsday with the kryptonite, weakens it terribly. Then Superman just gets him into a full Nelson as best he can, and then Wonder Woman just says, "Now move!" And then he moves, and then we stab Doomsday. She's a freaking demigod, Amazon. So that could have worked easier instead of, "Hey Lois, why don't you get rid of the one thing that will save the world?" And and had he not thrown the spear away, it would have just been, "You find the spear? Yeah, I got it." I was like, "No, you do it. You're not weak to this. Go." Okay, boom, done. Which, by the way, at the end of the movie too, botches the death of Superman because we see the dirt moving a little bit. Which, what the fuck does that mean? He can't be in a healing coma from that. He got stabbed. It's not like in actual Doomsday where he just got the pulp beaten out of him to death. Healing coma. No, he got impaled. He's dead. God almighty, they fucked so much up in that. But point being is that, other than that, though, Lois is the most useless thing in this movie. I know she's not even a character. She is a thing. A well-acted thing, but a thing. So, where did it succeed? Where did it fail? I already went over that. Did it overall succeed? Yeah, actually, I think it overall succeeded. Because, let's be clear, my score is not just from how well I think the movie's made. It's how much fun I had, how entertained I was, how good I thought the movie was overall. And again, 8 out of 10, not perfect. For all of this, you'd think I'd put it more like at a 7 or a 7.5, maybe even a 6.5. No, I'd still put it at an 8. For the parts that I enjoy, I still really enjoy enough to give it that. But it's a mess in parts. It's a mess throughout a good portion of this, and there's things that just don't add up. So first off, there's a penchant to get Zack Snyder fired from Justice League. the League. Is that warranted? I wouldn't necessarily say so, because it's not 100% Zack Snyder's fault. You also got to go with Goyer, who wrote the script, and the script is shit. Okay, the script's not 100% shit, but it's like 60% shit. It's a bad script. I mean, it's not. Not bad. It's not a good script. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a bad script, but it's not a good script. The lines are not good, and they weren't delivered. They were delivered as best they could from the actors, but the direction that Snyder took did not work in the movie's favor for a portion of it. And you got to put some of that on Snyder's shoulders as well. Do I think he should be fired from Justice League? No. I think he's still a solid director. I love Man of Steel. I love Watchmen. I love 300. I don't like Sucker Punch, unfortunately. But I do think that he needs to take a step back, reevaluate everything that the fans and critics do play a part, though you shouldn't always listen to critics. And take a step back and reevaluate how people are viewing this movie and be like, okay, what do I need to improve on for Justice League? And should I bring someone on to maybe help me with Justice League? You know, maybe I should talk to the studio and think, hey, Ben, you want to help me with this one? And I'm mentioning Affleck. I'll do the action sequences and some of the characterization there. Do you want to help me with, the actual storylines? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Which co-directed by them, that could work. That could actually be really cool. But I don't agree with the whole pension to get him fired, because that's fan backlash from fans who were too hyped for the movie. They just couldn't keep their expectations at the door. To be fair, it's Batman versus Superman. I would have been surprised. I'm surprised I was able to do that. So, yeah, I don't think Zack Snyder should be fired, but I think there should be some reevaluations at Warner Brothers and with him. As for the box office, as it stands, it currently globally has made $682 million. Now, it will reach 700 probably within the next couple of days. By Wednesday, I can guarantee it'll probably be at 700. But it took a 68% drop this weekend. Now, I've actually heard some reports talking about how that's big, but like Harry Potter, I think Deathly Hallows 1, or is it 2, took like a 68 or a near 80% drop, I think they said, on its second weekend, and it's the highest grossing Harry Potter. So while I don't think this is going to bury it by any stretch of the means, it's only week 2. It's got plenty of weeks left to make some money. I do think that they need to reconsider some stuff over at DC. If I were to say where I think it's going to close out right now, first I think it's going to make maybe I do think it's still going to make in the low 30s, high 20s in the millions this coming weekend. Because we got The Boss, which is a comedy, which I think it's R-rated, which might counterproduct a little bit, but I don't think it'll be that big a thing. Then Hardcore Henry as well, which will take some of its box office away because it's a low-budget action flick from a POV perspective, which is probably what I'm seeing this weekend, or this week. But I still think it'll probably make that. So if my guess is correct and let's just say average 30 million. Let's say it just somehow makes 30 million, which is very feasible. That means, and just from the standpoint of, say, by the end of the week, by Thursday anyway, because we're talking box office for the weekend, it's made, let's say it's made about $710 million. So you add another 30 on that domestically. It makes about brings up to 740, and then you got to include international box office. I believe that by the end of the week it probably will have gotten to close to 800 million, which I went over in the box office report yesterday, but bears repeating that the movie was made in total, when you account for marketing, about $400 million. So 250 for the actual movie and a little over 400 for marketing. And I estimate that maybe like 425. Now, the theater usually takes a third of the cut. So for the movie to actually just make money, it needs to basically make about $660 million just to be able to break even, more or less, which it's pretty much done that. It's done that. But I saw conflicting reports that it needs to make 800 to make its money back, more or less, or just to be considered successful. But I've heard Warner Brothers say it needs to make $1 billion to be considered successful. $1 billion might be pushing it, but I think it's possible it can still make $1 billion. But I see $1 billion. I don't think it needs to. If it just makes like $900 million, I think it's still successful and makes money. because then it still made $600 million, and that means it made like $175 million, give or take. So that's still a lot of money. But it's not the juggernaut blockbuster they are hoping for. But I think billion is more that it's their hope and expectations rather than what it actually needs to make. What they feel would be sufficient for it to be worth making, instead of what actually it makes to make the money. So, excuse me. Yeah, I don't see it crossing past very high $1 billion, but I can see it still making $1 billion. And I don't see where not making $1 billion makes it a failure if it still makes like maybe $950 million. So it's studios being studios, and they need to understand that they need to know how to make things a little more coherent and know when to trust a director and when not to. Sorry, I'm hearing things melt now because the temperature, I guess, is going back up, even though I can clearly, and you can clearly, see my breath. So anyway, and that's for now, last bit, what does this spell for the future of the DCU? Well, Suicide Squad's coming out, that's a given. Now, Wonder Woman is currently in the works, and I don't think they're in trouble right now. Because it's only week 2. It's still making money. It's still #1 at the box office. They're gonna be fine still for a while. Now, the question then becomes, if this, let's not say bombs, because it doesn't look like it's gonna bomb, but let's just say this is a disappointment for them. And Suicide Squad does okay. It does. I don't know what it's made on. Let's say $100 million, and it makes like $300 million, or yeah, but let's say overall it makes like $600 million, which that would be considered a success. That would be. Then yeah, they would still feel in an okay place. But if say Suicide Squad is made on $100 million, only makes like $300 million, or no, it only makes like $250 million, and that's not including marketing. Then there's a problem. Then maybe they need to be like, okay, what are we doing wrong? So I think right now the future is not bad. It's bleak, and I mean that in the tone of the movies. It's not the strongest future ahead of them, but it is a future they still have to go to. But I don't know. We just gotta wait till Suicide Squad and see and also gotta wait to see what the overall numbers for this are gonna end up being. So it's still too early to tell for this, but. Well, the third week's going to be really telling because it's going to be kicked out at #1 come next week because of Jungle Book. That's just a given. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put it in the comments below. Let me know. We'll do a review on it at some point. So I got Star Wars to do tomorrow. I got Who Would Win to do Wednesday. I got review for Hardcore Henry. Hardcore Henry on Thursday. I don't think I'll have a Magic video this week because I won't be able to get to the release event, so I can't really give a review of Shadows of Innistrad, but I will be getting some of the cards upon Friday when it's released. So, yeah. Nah, that being said, I also have a Soda Tries video that I will be doing later on in the week. Either when the weather's a bit nicer for me to be outside and do it, assuming I do it outside. So, keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.